Hello. Alright, this video is on polynomial inequalities. It is section 2.7 from your book. And because this is one of the last videos, I went all out on the drawing. Probably one of my favorite ones. This is Scotty on stage, rocking out to a sold out venue. Pretty sick. Alright, so what we're talking about here is we want to find when polynomials are less than or equal to or greater than or equal to a value. In this case, it's always going to be 0. Alright? So what we're going to do here is we're going to always want to find the roots. So this specific one can be factored to be x minus 3 times x plus 2. And let's think about some things we know here. This is a parabola, right? It's second power and it's positive. So it's going to be an upward parabola that goes through negative 2, right? Negative 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's got to look something like this. Okay? That's perfect graph, but it's something like that. Now, let's think. When is this graph less than or equal to 0? Well, from here to there. Right? Because when is it greater than or equal to 0? Here to there. Now, because we're talking about or equal to, we include the roots, okay? Because at the root it is equal to 0. We're talking about the y values, right? Because when x is equal to negative 2, y is 0. And when x is equal to 3, y is 0. So we are going to use close brackets, and we're going to say, well, this is less than or equal to 0 from negative 2 to 3. That's our answer. Here's another example. Alright, for this one, it's already factored for us. So we can use again, we can use what we know about graphs and polynomials as well. There's a 0 at 1, 2, 3. At negative 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And at negative 4. And because this is an x cubed, if you multiply this out, this would be x cubed. And positive, it has to look something like that. Right? And this is what we just quiz on. So you guys, you know how to do this by now. It's cubed, so it's an odd power, so it does the opposite thing at the ends. And it's positive, so it's going up. Now, when is this graph greater than or equal to 0? Well, from there to there, from there to there. Now we're just going to write the intervals. This is from negative 6 inclusive, so we use close brackets, right, to negative 4. And then we use union. It's called union because this is also an answer. This is going to be from 3 to infinity. And whenever we use infinity, we always use an open bracket. So this will be our solution set right here. And this is intervals again. This is going back a couple chapters, but you need to remember open and close brackets, union, etc. All that goodies, all that great stuff. Alright, so these two we were able to do without a calculator, right? We know this stuff. We're geniuses. This one, I'm going to use a calculator, but first I'm going to write it like this. I'm basically, what I'm doing is I'm rewriting it, but I'm bringing the 48 over. We're always going to want this to be greater than or equal to 0 or less than or equal to 0. We always want this to be a 0 over here. Okay? So I'm going to take my calculator. I'll turn it on. Always got to turn it on. It's the first step. I'm going to enter it in. I already entered it in. 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 32x plus 48. I'm going to hit graph. And you can see it does something like a cubic, right? It goes up, down, up. But we need to know what these zeros are. So I'm going to hit 0. I'm going to go to this one over here to the right. This is a left bound. This is a right bound. And then a guess. It appears to be at 4. Alright, let's find our second 0. Scooch on over. Alright, we got a left bound. Got a right bound. And we got a guess, and it's at 1.5. And our last 0 is at, all over here, oop, there it is, left bound, right bound somewhere over there, and your guess. Oh, -4. That's our third 0. So the 0 is at 1, 2, 3, 4, at 1.5, and at 4. And we saw that it did something like this. Right? So, when is that greater than or equal to 0? It's greater than or equal to 0. These points. Okay, well, where is that? Close bracket, because it's equal to. It's going to be -4 to 1.5 union 4 to infinity. Bada bing, bada boom. Done. Last thing we should talk about here. Let's think about this graph. X squared plus 4. That's a parabola shifted up 4. It's awesome. I hope you guys are starting to catch on to now. Alright? So when is this graph greater than or equal to 0? Well, it's always greater than or equal to 0. Okay? Right? Everything is above the x-axis, greater than or equal to 0. So this is going to be all real numbers. Okay? When is it less than or equal to 0? Never. So we're going to write no solutions. Donezo. That's our lesson for today. Key is you need to know the zeros, whether you can find them on your own or whether you need to use a calculator like this one. Then once you find the zeros, you're going to have intervals. There's an interval right here to here. Here's an interval. Here's an interval, and here's an interval. Pick the intervals that are above or below whatever it's asking for. Alright? Here's your question. Good luck.